Kaylee Muthart, who was a straight A student, became blind in February 2018 when she believed that her gruesome act of self-mutilation would save the world and bring her closer to God. The incident occurred just days before schedule to enter rehab. At the age of 20 years old, Kaylee's life took a dark turn due to drug abuse after falling in with a bad crowd. However, since the disturbing event, she has embraced an incredibly positive attitude, attributing the ordeal to help her kick her drug addiction and start a new life. Now, this all happened on February 6, 2018, when Kaylee Muthart and her friend got high together for 48 hours. Yes, 48 hours. 2 days. What kind of high was that? But anyway, Kaylee Muthart went to her dealer that day to get her drugs. And she realized that something was not right about her drugs. She began to question the dealer and say, what's going on with them, because my drugs is black. And this is not what I usually get.
When I bought it, he had tried to give me like a solid, almost solid black piece of meth. And I was like, no, something's wrong with, don't give me that piece.
So Kaylee Muthart wanted to get high. And she did exactly that. She got high. She took the drugs anyway. She said, the heck with it. Let me go ahead and get those drugs because I am ready to get high. And not only did she get high, but she went lower than she have ever went in her life. Straight down to the ground. So when she took these drugs, she began to hear voices telling her to do things. And those voices was telling her to gouge her eyes out of her sockets, right out of her head. And if she does not do that, the world is going to end and everybody is going to die. So by her gouging her eyes out, she will save the world. What kind of stuff is that?
She began thinking that someone had to sacrifice something important to right the world, and that person was her. She thought everything would end abruptly, and everyone would die if she didn't tear out her eyes immediately.
Now, she was listening to those voices in her head. And she also began to bang on the ground and said, why me? Why me? She began to ask God, why me? Why me? But God was not talking to her at all. That was the devil. Now, also, Kaylee Muthart thought that her friend went to church. And she said, my friend went to church, so I'm finna get ready and walk towards that church that I think that she is at, allegedly. So she began to walk to the church. And there was some railroad tracks beside that church. And when she got by the railroad tracks of that church, she began to listen to those voices telling her to gouge her eyes out of her socket. So she took her hands and plucked her eyes out of her socket. I mean, she said that it hurt. No duh.
I got on my hands and knees and said, God, why me? Why me? And beat the ground. And part of me believed I wasn't going to do it, but some reason I didn't stop.
Kaylee, then 21, walked to a church in Anderson County, then to the railroad tracks which ran beside it. She says she reached for her eyes in a meth-induced psychotic frenzy.
I remember going for them, grabbing them, and just like this, and forcing them out. They basically popped out. It hurt, but I believe it would have hurt more if I wasn't on drugs.
But I started thinking about this. I said, how in the world do you get so high that you can take your hands and pluck your eyeballs out of your head? I mean, what kind of high is that? No way, no way, no way, Jose. But anyway, she gouged her eyes out of her socket and her eyes was in her hand. And she also squares her eyes. I mean, she squares her eyeballs flat. Now, when she did this, she was screaming out very loud because of the pain. And the preacher at that church heard her screaming to the top of her lungs. So the preacher seen her with her eyeballs in her hand. And she also squares her eyeballs all the way down, flat. And the preacher began to embrace her and call 911 and got her some help. So the ambulance came. And let me rewind back a little bit. The preacher asked her, what can I do for you? How can I help you? She said, pray for me. But prayer was not going to help at that moment. She needed a hospital ASAP. But anyway, the preacher called the ambulance to get her some help. And when the ambulance got there, they put her on a stretcher and they airlifted her to the hospital.
So she got on her hands and knees and pushed her thumb, pointer, and middle finger into each eye. She gripped each eyeball, twisted, and pulled until each one popped out of the socket. She was almost certain that she would have tried to claw right into her brain if a pastor hadn't heard her screaming. He ran over and found her holding her eyeballs in her hands. She had squished them, although they were somehow still attached to her head. The pastor immediately restrained her. She was then transferred to a stretcher and airlifted via helicopter to Greenville Memorial Hospital in South Carolina.
I remember just screaming louder than the pain was, hoping somebody would stop me, because I didn't want to do it, but I thought I had to do it. And a preacher grabbed my wrist. He said, what can I do? What can I do? And I just said, just pray for me.
I mean, just the thought of somebody pulling their eyeballs out of their socket makes me cringe. Now, when dust flies in my eyes, it hurts and also it gets irritated. So I can only imagine how she felt at that moment by pulling her eyeballs out of her socket. Ooh wee. She had to have been high to do something like that. Now, Kaylee Muthart is blind. She is straight up blind. She cannot see anything. She has no eyeballs at all. And also, Kaylee Muthart has artificial eyes. She has prosthetic eyes. And her eyes look real to me. I mean, when I see her, she looks like, she's not blind at all. But she is blind. What a sad story. Kaylee Muthart said she believed that if she did not pluck her eyes out, that she would be dead today. I believe that because some people are like Pookie off of New Jack City. I mean, it kept on calling me, man. It kept on calling me.
I know I was wrong being on that girl, man, but this crack shit, man, it's got me, man. I don't got no control over it, man. I try to kick, man. That shit just be calling me, man. I just gotta go to it. Need help, man.
Because a person cannot just kick drugs to the side, cold turkey, like it's nothing. Some people may have to go to rehab or call 10 priests or call the pastor or maybe even get into the hospital. I'm talking about overdosing on their drugs. Some people go through many phases in order to get off of drugs. Now, I am going to say this here before I close. It's the little things that we take for granted. I heard Kaylee Muthart say the thing that she missed the most is seeing the birds fly away and also watching her daughter grow up.
The thing I miss the most is seeing my daughter smile and being able to watch the birds fly.
I mean, those little things right there, we take for granted. Being able to have the activity of our limbs. And when I thought about that, it made me think on myself. Sometimes I may sit back and complain about not having, enough money to buy a Bentley or Mercedes-Benz or a BMW. I mean, I'm just exaggerating and saying things that I wish that I could buy if I had a lot of money to buy these items. And sometimes you may even sit back and complain about the food that you eat. I'm tired of leg quarters. I'm tired of chicken breasts. I'm tired of hamburger meat. I'm tired of spaghetti. I'm tired of burgers. But guess what? Somebody wished they had hamburger meat in the freezer. Somebody wished that they had some leg quarters in the freezer. What I'm basically saying is we are taking a lot of things that we have in our life for granted on a day-to-day basis. And I thought about that. I don't need assistance to walk around my house. I don't need assistance to carry me to the car. I don't need assistance to do anything. I can do everything by myself. I don't need anybody to guide me around. That's a blessing all by itself. So when you sit back and you begin to complain about the little things in your life, like I don't have enough money to buy all of these expensive cars or homes, just sit back and think about what Kaylee Muthart said. She missed seeing her daughter grow up, watching her daughter grow up, and also watching the birds fly away. She missed having her sight, and she realized how important her sight was in her life. Now she don't have it. And hopefully she have a seeing eye dog now at this time, because this happened way back in 2018. So I guarantee you that she have a service dog at this time. But my prayers go out to Kaylee Muthart and her family, and I wish the best for her. I wish that, she prospered, because she made a mistake in her life that she cannot turn back on when it come down to her sight. But at least she learned her lesson, and she understands what she's thankful for in her life. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Y'all have a good one and also a blessed one. Until I see you all on the next video, holla at you.